Saturn is moving into Aries at 11:37 p.m. Eastern Time on May 24th. And this is like a really big deal, like huge, because Saturn moves into each sign for 2.5 to 3 years, roughly. Right now, we're getting a preview because Saturn is going to be retrograding back into Pisces on September 1st and then going back into Aries next year and doing the retrograde song and dance before we get into this master and servant situation. My Depeche Mode fans know what I'm talking about. We're getting the preview, we're getting the trailer, and I'm here for it, and I'm like sweating thinking about it at the same time. So Saturn represents boundaries, constriction, discipline, systems and structure, duty, responsibility, strategy. Saturn represents time and age and aging and maturity, mastery and wisdom. Like that's the juice of Saturn. But we need to get through like all of the other stuff. We ultimately need to master what it means to have boundaries and limitations and constrictions. And we need to develop that sense of duty and responsibility and discipline in the area of our life where Saturn is. And whatever house Aries inhabits in your chart is where you're going to feel it. I like to think of Saturn as no. If we're thinking about boundaries and limitations and constriction, that is no energy. Boundaries also mean yes. And this is a little bit of an example here. This glass is Saturn. It's saying no. It's saying no to my laptop. It is saying no to the couch. It is saying no to the TV. It is saying no to my phone. It is saying yes to the water and the air that is inside of it. And that's it. It understands that in order for it to contain this much, it needs to say no and needs to set boundaries to everything else. It needs to limit and constrict everything else. Sometimes we have a glass like this. Sometimes we have a little espresso cup. Sometimes we have a big gulp. Sometimes it's like the boot. You know what I'm talking about, the cowboy boot. Just depends on the stages and phases and circumstances that are going on in our life for how much we can contain. Now, does that mean that all of us are great at every aspect of our life at being that cup of water? Absolutely not. Some of us are yes people to an extreme. Some of us are no people to an extreme. Some of us, it depends whether we're yes or no person to an extreme. Some of us are pretty like even keeled with everything. I'm going to use an example. I think it's relatable and it's a small one. It's not easy. It's challenging work. And through the discipline, etc., I have mastered this. I am a sage. I am a crone at this point. Oh, almost a crone. A lot of you know me to be very much into physical activity through yoga, through weight training, through circuit training, through HIIT training. And I have made it my personal mission, I would say within the last year or so, and I feel like I've gotten a little more serious in September, extra serious since December, around building muscle. And there was a lot of trial and error in figuring out what that looked like and meant like for my body. And I like refused to spend money to figure this out. There's so much free information on the internet. I refused. That was one of my boundaries. That was one of my like, hell no's. I am not spending money. Am I spending my money on a gym? Duh, yes. Yes, of course. I have figured this out through my own trial and error. And I have had to be extremely disciplined, right? Like I am working out 3 to 5 times a week. Some days I double it up. I did this also knowing that I need to restrict myself in other areas of life. I need to say no. I need to say no to going out on a whim if I know I need to be up at 5, 6 in the morning the next day to go work out. Or here's another scenario. Maybe I'll go out, but I'm like, I gotta leave by 9 o'clock because I gotta be in bed by 10. So I set that limit for myself. And because I've gotten really great at this routine, at this structure that has taken time to develop, I've also gotten really great at planning my life around events that I know about ahead of time. For example, my birthday recently, like I made sure to do all the working out leading up to my birthday. I like stacked it, and then I didn't work out for 3 days. And then Monday I go back to working out. I am planning a trip that's going to involve a lot of partying in a few weeks. And I have already scheduled my time around it. I have figured this out in a way that works for me. So it's not I'm not saying no to everything. I still say yes. I just know what those boundaries are and I know how to play with it now. I know how to fit it into my life. I have mastered it and it's taken time and discipline and dedication. There are still moments where I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to go. I just want to lay in my bed. I want to hear the birds waking up. Like it's 6 in the morning. I'm hearing birds. Like they're just waking up. It's still dark outside. And I still get there. And even like on the way there, I'm like negotiating with myself of, okay, I'm going to get there. And even if it's bare minimum today, oh, and by the time I get like into my spot, I'm still going to go ham. I'm still going to go. And also play with the restrictions of my energy in the moment, but I still go. If 60% is what I have for my workout that day, then that's my 100% for the day. Said and done. That's what I'm doing. The point is that I've had to do it, and it's been so worth it. It has been so worth it. Like, you wouldn't believe. That is Saturn. The wisdom and the mastery that comes from the dedication, the limits, the boundaries, the constriction. We could say the same thing about money. I think there's a lot of us that like don't really have a money problem but have a spending problem. If we can constrict and limit and set boundaries and budget, there wouldn't be a money problem. Just using that as an example, throwing that nugget out there because I know that resonates for a lot of you. Now we have Aries. Aries represents the first one to do it, the individual. It represents independence, your independence as an individual, you as one person. Risk taking, impulsivity. It's a lot of yes, it's a lot of no too. It's a lot of yes. Like, yeah, I want to try that. Yeah, I want to try. Yeah, I'll try anything once. That is Aries energy. I can't remember the astrologer's name that said this. I heard this on a podcast that they were on. They described Aries to a T. They said Aries is ready, fire, aim. Yes. Yes. Like me. I remember myself. I'm a sun in Aries. My grandmother was cooking something and I was like standing on the chair and I was like helping her out. I might have been like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years old. I don't know why I was standing on a chair as a toddler with my grandmother cooking with the hot stove. Whatever. Point being, she told me, don't put your hand on the stove. This is a perfect Saturn and Aries example. Actually, she said, don't put your hand on the stove. What do? I put my hand on the stove. Because I'm like, it's not that hot. I had, I don't know what degree of burns on my hand. I had to go to the doctor. Whatever, I'm fine now. And that is Saturn and Aries dynamic right there. Oh my goodness. Who would have known I would have gotten to that story? And that's what that represents because I've had that growing up. Aries is the toddler, the infant, the elementary, middle school, high school child, adolescent that doesn't have enough life experience yet to know what the limits and the boundaries and the constrictions are. Like, not every kid is like this, of course, but Aries is the kid that will constantly go against, that will constantly take the risk. Even if you say no, no matter how much You are trying to protect this child, will do it anyway. That is what we're in for with Saturn in Aries. Saturn is going to come in and say, no, you can't do that. No, that's not happening. Nope, can't do this. And the Aries is going to say, I'm going to do it anyway. Watch me. I think of those cat videos too, where you're like looking at the cat, like the cat is about to swat the thing off the counter, and they know they're not supposed to, and they look you dead in the eye, and they just. If you are an Aries rising, you're going to experience limitations, constriction, boundaries with the self. You, the individual, the self, the body. This is actually a really great time to do body related work, body processing work. Trauma informed body as conduit of healing work. Great time for it if you're open to it, if you feel safe. You may feel some constriction around self in your dynamic with others, in your body, in some way. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be worth it at the end of the cycle. I promise you. If you're Pisces rising, so that means Aries is in your second house, you're going to experience this around money and finances, assets, your resources. There's going to be something where you are forced to set boundaries around money. Eventually, at the end of the cycle, it will be worth it. If you do the budgeting right, perhaps you lose your job, perhaps you have to change jobs. There's some unknown expense that comes up that you didn't know was going to arise. And then you have to shift how your money is spread. It will be worth it in the end. Saturn always leaves the gift behind of mastery and wisdom. If you are Aquarius rising, this will be in your third house. So you may experience some constriction, restriction, limitation, boundaries necessary around siblings, communication, short distance travel, neighbors, neighborhood. If you own your condo, even if you rent your condo, like this could be like your landlord, and it could also be like your board would fall under this too. It could also be like the people in your life. So sure, you might experience some constriction in your relationship with sibling or siblings or extended family, and or they may experience some kind of restriction or limitation around something in their life where there's some authority or something in their life that imposes some level of restriction. Then we have Aries in the fourth house, Capricorn rising. Some sort of restriction, limitation, constriction around your home, around family, particularly the people that raised you. That could be parents or grandparents. Maybe there's significant family members or chosen fam that raised you. That would all fall under this house. This also includes lineages and your private life. Some kind of limit or constriction around that area leading to something worth it in 3 years. We'll see what it is. Fifth house. So that is Sagittarius rising. Children in your life, whether that's your own children or children in your families or friends, or maybe perhaps you teach children. This could actually also fall for people that have Aries in their third house. So that is our Aquarius risings. There's like a little bit of overlap between those two houses because third house can like also signify early childhood development. So if you're a teacher, for example, like that could impact you, or anything where you work with children, like early childhood, that could impact you. So fifth house, children in your life, creativity, sex and sexuality, fun and pleasure, eroticism, romance, games, gambling. And this is like the house. If any of you know the chakra, this is like second chakra house right here. So This house is going to experience some constriction. So again, this could be for third, fourth, and fifth house. This could be people in your life are experiencing this, and perhaps it impacts you in some way, or it's just them that are experiencing this, and like you're just seeing it play out in their lives. And maybe there's some constriction around your creative projects if you're creative or in a creative field of some sort. Aries in the sixth house. This is Scorpio rising. So there may be some constriction at work, some authority figure, something that impacts you in some way, or some other limitations that are set that are going to impact you, or something that impacts your boss. These are all possibilities. Something that impacts your health and routine. Routines fall under this, and the physical health falls under this as well. Your pets. What are the systems and structures in your life, the routine necessary, including job, including pets, that sustain you? This is going to be impacted. Seventh house. This is Libra risings. You're going to experience some constriction around your relationships. Sorry. And sometimes that leads to something great, right? When there is hardship and challenge in relationships, this can lead to wisdom and mastery of how to navigate that dynamic. Sometimes we need to discuss our boundaries and our limitations in a relationship. And if we are with somebody that is able to meet us to what that is, and vice versa, you being able to meet your partner in their boundaries and their limitations within the relationship, then it can lead to something great. So pay attention to that, or some restriction in your partner's life. Business partner, romantic partner. Eighth house, some kind of restriction in other people's money, money that is shared. That could be your partner's money. Your partner's finances are impacted in some way. It could be yours. It could be taxes, back taxes, loans, investments, inheritances. These all fall under the eighth house. So just thinking about constriction and limitation in that area of your life. Ninth house, this is higher education. This is bigger picture thinking. These are like your big picture beliefs, your philosophies, your politics, your religion, your spirituality, yoga, astrology, religion itself. Some restructuring around that area of your life. This is Leo rising. Let me backtrack for those of you that have Aries in the eighth house. That is Virgo rising. Okay. Now, 10th house. This is Aries in the 10th house. Therefore, it is Cancer rising. I'm doing all of this in my head, so bear with me. Some constriction around your career. There is some shift or some change that may be upon you that will significantly impact you over the next 3 years. This is your public life. This is your vocation. This is recognition. This is primarily your career, your trajectory, where you're headed, where you want to go. That will experience some level of constriction or limitation. A new policy at work, or some structural change at work, or a new boss, or something along those lines. Yes, I'm going to leave that there. 11th house. This is Gemini rising. Restructuring of constriction, limitations around your groups, alliances, network of people, hopes and dreams. All of these kind of tie in together in the 11th house, because hopes and dreams are oftentimes achieved with and through others, right? Like you might be the one doing it, but it's with and through others. If you want a promotion at work and like this is where you're headed, there is some strategy that is necessary. You rely on other people, whether that's mentors or whether that's like experience or exposure through and with other people in order to get there, to develop the skill set, etc., or meet the people that are going to support you in getting there, and vice versa. So there may be some constriction around groups. There may be some restructuring of your groups. Maybe you need to limit interaction with certain people in your life, set boundaries with certain people in your life. 12th house. Oh, whoever has 12th house. Taurus. Taurus. You're lucky. You're lucky until Saturn enters Taurus. You are lucky because Saturn thrives in the 12th house. And Saturn still has a hard time in Aries. You're probably the luckiest of us all. It is the best conditions that Saturn can be in at this point. Okay, so Saturn is going to be putting some constrictions, putting some limitations, putting some boundaries around, and putting a big light on solitude, on retreating, on people you don't get along with. I think of Saturn in the 12th house as a restructuring around whatever you're not aware of. This is like the unknown realm, is also the 12th house. Whatever you are unaware of coming to light. Any patterns, any limitations that you are not aware of are going to come to light. And as it's coming to light, you are going to be able to restructure and reframe your beliefs and your dynamics related to these things. You have it the easiest. I'm jealous. It's okay. It's okay. I had my Saturn in 12th house era a while ago. That is our Saturn in Aries. Hit me up in the comments. DM me. You know the drill. I want to know how you feel about this. I want to know if you liked this, if you got some insight out of it, if you need clarification. Pop it in the comments. Let me know. Love you all. Till next time.